What's going on, y'all? I'm back. Kojo Locks, coming to you with another video. This is a lock channel where I discuss lock content, so if you're interested in that, please hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, share this video with a friend, because this is another lock update video. So for all you starter lockers out there, or people who are looking to start your lock journey, and you kind of want to see where you're going to be at these different milestones, well, stay tuned, because I am at that 10-month mark. And I just, you guys gotta seriously do this every month? Like, aren't you kind of over it? Like, don't you, like, 10 months of this? I appreciate it, but just like, I don't know, it's kind of getting old, no? Alright, I see you, I know, 10, yeah. Alright, so I'm at the 10-month mark, and you know, it's interesting because it gets seemingly less eventful as the months go on, and that's not really a bad thing. Right? And I'll kind of get into that towards the end of this video, but what we are going to talk about in this video is, number one, we're going to talk about what it's like to be 10 months locked, which I am. And in that, we're going to give you a full 360 view of what these locks are looking like. We're going to just briefly touch on some of my routines. For those of you that have been paying attention to my channel, my routines haven't really changed much, but I guess I'll touch on a few things that I might be changing in the near future. And last but not least, we'll talk about the emotional and mental changes, if there are any for this month, and you know, just kind of wrap things up with what to expect. So without further ado, let's get into that 360, shall we? So this is pretty much what the hair looks like at that 10-month mark. You know, I guess things that I can note are that my locks are, well, locking up, of course. They're definitely locking up from the root of the hair, going all the way close to the tip. But I guess the one thing that I would say for myself, having, I think, about 3-ish hair texture, I've kind of, you know, bent my thought process on that. A lot of people have reached out to me kind of letting me know that my hair texture isn't as loose as a 2C as I thought it was. So right now I'm going with like a 3-ish hair texture. But this is what it looks like. And the one thing I can say at this point is that the tips of my locks aren't locking up. I mean, they're locking up. I shouldn't say they're not locking up, but they haven't locked yet. Like, you can kind of see the ends are a little bit more frayed. However, I will say that in the back, so the parts of my hair that I sleep on the most, that obviously get a little bit more friction at night specifically, have seemed to lock up a lot better in the ends. This one, for example, I don't know if you can see this one here, but the end of it is pretty well locked. Like, this lock is pretty well locked up. I'm hoping you can see that pretty clearly. But I would say that's the main thing that I'm waiting for at this point, is just for the tips of my hair to fully lock up. And the one thing I'm noticing specifically this month, and a little bit of last, is one thing that a lot of people talk about is the thickness of your lock, right? Your loctician or yourself or whoever did your hair does your hair, and in that beginning few months, you don't know, even to where I'm at now, you don't really know how thick your lock's going to be yet until it fully matures. Now, how that happens is the hair that's growing in and the hair that's already in the locks essentially frizzes up, mats up, comes together, and then once that's complete and your lock is fully mature, only then will you know how thick your lock really is going to be. Now, obviously, having a professional loctician, obviously they can make your parted sections to a way where you can determine how thick you want your locks to be, but you really don't know until it's done. Now, one good way to kind of gauge how thick you want your lock to be is when you're getting your parted sections done, right? So I have a little bit of numerals, so you can't really see it, but the size of my parted section, so for example, this parted section, whatever the size of that parted section is typically going to be what the size of your lock will be when it's fully matured. Now, what I'm going into basically is saying that at this point, I'm noticing a lot of the frizzing hairs going around the lock and starting to really show what the size or the thickness of my lock is going to be like when it's fully matured. So I would say that's one major change that I'm seeing at the 10-month mark is, you know, not only is my locks almost fully locked all the way to the tips, but now the lock's starting to get to its final stage of maturity in that it's becoming the full size that it's going to be, if that makes sense. So that's probably the one takeaway I would say for where I'm at now. But you know, overall, I love where my locks are at. Obviously, you can see I have a high top set, you know, so my locks are just on the top of my head. And like I always say, You know, if you're new in the game or if you're still, you know, a couple months in, one good tip, keep a fresh fade, right? Keeps you feeling fresh. You don't really have to deal with the quote unquote ugly stage, or you just go through the stage feeling a little bit more comfortable and, you know, just a good look. So yeah, that's where we're at. This is the full 360. And yeah, I would really just say the tips are the main thing I'm waiting to come in, and the thickness is definitely coming together. So it's all good. It's all good. That's where we're at. As far as products that I use, my washing routine, my oiling routine, haven't really changed much. Still washing with my Design Essentials Oat Protein and Henna, which is a shampoo that I've been using since the beginning. I love it. It's specifically designed for locks, and it is a professional line, so it's really, really good products, very, very healthy products. One thing I'm thinking about doing is actually adding in a conditioner to my process. And you know what, I don't really have I just want to try it. I want to see how an actual lock conditioner will help my hair. I'm noticing that it's summertime where I'm at, which is Toronto, Ontario, Canada. And I'm noticing that my locks are a little drier, obviously in that weather, but I want to see if a conditioner will kind of help just to maintain the texture of my locks, if you will, so I don't have to oil my hair as much as I've been doing. I've been oiling it now pretty much every day, just to kind of, you know, keep the hair moisturized and keep it healthy and things like that. But I'm probably going to be adding in a Design Essentials conditioner, so stay tuned for that update. I'll let you know on my next lock update how that's been going. But as far as my washing routine, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm washing every 2 weeks now, pretty consistently. And I'm not as delicate with washing my hair as I was when I first started my journey. You know, I kind of just wash my hair, not vigorously, but I'm not really delicate about it. I just wash it, rinse it out, and I use not a towel, but I use a little cloth. What you can use too is like a t-shirt or something that's like a nylon material, just to help to absorb some of that moisture. I just leave that tied on my hair, leave it, take it off, oil my hair, and we're good to go. As far as oils and what I'm using for that, again, same thing. I'm using my jojoba oil mixed with tea tree oil, peppermint, and lavender oil. So these are all 3 essential oils, and the jojoba oil is kind of my sealant to kind of seal it all together. And the reason I use jojoba oil is because it's a very light oil. So in the summertime, that's kind of what I like to use. Since I am sweating a lot, I don't really want a thick oil in my hair. It's going to be coming down on my face and stuff like that, or clogging up my pores. I just want something that's nice and light to moisturize the scalp, moisturize the hair with. And jojoba oil actually is the closest natural oil to the natural sebum of your body, or the natural oils that your body produces. So it's just a very light oil, very healthy, very good for your hair and your scalp. So that's pretty much what I do in terms of my actual oiling routine. And as far as the daily, any changes and anything like that, not really. I mean, I'm just now, you know, living with my locks, if you will, and not really thinking about it every second of every day, and just really waiting to get a retwist or to go back and get a retightening for my interlocks. I do have interlocks, by the way. My hair has been interlocked pretty much all the way down, so I have been going through this phase or this process primarily interlocking my hair. I have done a few retwists a couple times just to kind of bring the hair together between interlocks, but pretty much every 2 months is when I go back to get my interlocks done. This particular time, I'm probably gonna wait a little bit longer because my hair is pretty well matured. I'm gonna wait maybe 3.5, maybe even 4 months until I go back to get my interlocks. And I'm really just basing that off of how much new growth I have before I go back to get a retightening or a retwist. Essentially, if you're gonna go back to get a re-interlock or retightening done, you wanna have at least, 2 fingers width of new growth. So you should be able to kind of put your hand or your finger through your new growth at the bottom there. Right now I can get about a finger in there. So I'm gonna wait probably another month or 2 before I go back. And the reason why I have a little bit more freedom before I have to go back so mandatorily, I think I just made that word up, but is just because my hair is pretty well locked, so I'm not really worried about it coming undone at this point. 10 months into the game, it's just a waiting game at this point and maintaining your locks, that's it. I can gladly say that I'm kind of out of that phase. I would say the first 6 months was like being a little more concerned with keeping my locks together, or are they gonna unravel or anything like that. But now that's not even a thought at all. I just kind of go about what I gotta do. I wash, I oil, I play sports, I work out, I do whatever I need to do and never worry about the process of or the chance of my locks coming out. So as far as the mental and emotional changes or anything like that, again, not really. Like, I'm kind of smooth sailing at this point, and just really waiting again to get a retwist or an interlock. I guess I would say, you know, for new lockers out there who might be hearing this or seeing this video and thinking, wow, like 10 months and his hair's still not locked up yet, or, you know, his ends are still not together. There's a lot of factors that go into that. And mine being a looser hair texture than you may think, being like a 3-ish hair texture, that's just what my process has been. And the one thing I can say too is I honestly believed when I started this journey that my hair was gonna lock up in the first 2 months. So I guess my advice to you would be, number one, don't have expectations of what's gonna happen or what your process is gonna be like, even based off of someone else's hair or someone else's texture. Even if you have similar hair textures, yes, most likely you'll go through the same type of journey as them, but if you don't, then what? You know, you're kind of setting yourself up for disappointment. So just kind of go through the process and do what you need to do in accordance to where your hair and your scalp are at in the process, right? Just be patient is number one, or number two, I guess I would say. Definitely be patient. Super hard to do, and I'm not a patient person, to be honest, but it's a process you have to be patient with, and take your time through the process, and just be as minimal as possible with your products. You know, don't be trying all kinds of different products and all kinds of different things. Be as minimal as you can with the products you use. Find something that works, stick to it until you feel like you're ready to try something else, or that you feel like you need something else. And that's it. You know, it's really just a waiting game. So 10 minutes in the game, I'm coasting. And hence why there isn't really much for me to tell you on this video, to be honest. But thanks for tuning in. I hope this was helpful information. If you do have any more specific questions to yourself, if you are on this lock journey with me, feel free to shoot it in the comments. Let me know what you think. A lot of you have been shouting out and letting me know where you are on your lock journey, which has been pretty cool. I appreciate that. And, you know, I want to keep this journey going. So stick with me, hit me up in the comments. Feel free to share this video, like this video, please. It helps the YouTube channel grow. I guess that's it for me today. Not much going on, not much to tell you, to be honest. 10 months in the game. It's kind of boring, but you know what? It's all good. All right, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Kojo Locks signing out. Peace and love.